Just a lovely little flitter of the voice there. Just have a listen. It's so slight.
Soundtrack.
G'day, welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. My name is Dr. Dan, and today we are going to be reviewing what has to be said, the incredible voice of Dimash. Now, I know that the algorithm on YouTube, it sends this out to every single dear one on the planet. So if you're a dear one, if you consider yourself a super fan of Dimash, hello, welcome to my review of this performance. And in fact, the reason why I'm saying hello to you all is because it was actually a dear one who recommended I watch this live performance by Dimash. This was back in 2017. It is a live performance of the song Unforgettable Day. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it as much as I have. And so before we get going, a special thank you to all of the dear ones who have encouraged me to watch this performance. Let's dive in and we'll make our comments as we go along. Now, my research suggests this is being performed in front of 150,000 people. That's a big audience. The largest audience I've ever performed in solo is around about 10 to 12,000, so quite a few more than me.
Bir көргенмен ғашық болдым өзіңе еркелеген балдай тәтті сөзіңе.
Such an interesting stance just to be sitting there. You can let me know in the comments section below where this sits in his set list. Again, my research suggested to me that this performance, he was the headline act at this particular concert. And so I don't know where this song is sitting in the overall set list. I know there will be people watching this video who do. So leave that information for all of us below. But he's really showing a sense of comfort on stage and you know, sort of kicking back, and it's really interesting way to start. Just a lovely little flitter of the voice there. Just have a listen. It's so slight. It just moves the melody ever so slightly. It's interesting because when a singer like Dimash does these just little touches, you could be excused for kind of missing them in the sense that they're not a highlight. He's not drawing your attention to them, but he is adding them in, and it does continue interest audibly for the listener, where to a certain extent we're blissfully, in one sense, unaware of them, but they're there and they continue to maintain our attachment to the sound. Just a little bit. That's interesting. I'm listening, just listening very carefully. I think I'm hearing a second voice just sitting underneath Dimash. I'm not certain whether this is to track or to live music, because I I'm unable to spot any live musicians around. I think this might be to track, but there is just a lower voicing. It might, if it's a track, it might even be Dimash himself singing a lower note underneath. What that does, it just fills out that overall tonal vocal quality and makes it a bit fuller. And this is industry-wide practice. We're not suggesting he's doing anything sneaky here. It's just giving us that little bit more width. Let me take it back and see if you can hear just a lower line of vocal. It's just right down the bottom.
Жүрек ешкім жүргіз алмас әмірі Сөндір алмас сезімінің жалынын.
Can I say, because many of you have watched me do reviews of Dimash before, and I've been able to offer a critical analysis of his performances and some of the things that he's done with his voice. And some of you have, well, can you do it? Well, no, there's a lot of stuff that Dimash does that most people can't do, but I do come to this with about 28, actually I'm at the end of my 28th year of teaching professional singers, and so there's some really interesting things that we observe him do that the vast majority of people on the planet cannot do. In many respects, he's a bit of a freak, in a good way. What I want to say, though, is this is probably one of my favourite performances I've ever seen of Dimash. And one of the reasons being is it's truly live. There's a lot of other stuff we see of Dimash online that is him mouthing to his own voice. I'm not suggesting he is he's not able to do what we see him doing, but a lot of stuff is overdub and pre-recorded. This is truly live. And if you watch enough of my analysis videos, my instructional videos here on the Voice Essentials channel, you'll learn that I'm very passionate about raw, authentic, real singing. And we get to see that in this performance. And for that reason, I think this is one of my favorites. You can leave your comments in the comment section below and let me know perhaps leave your top 3. What are your top 3 Dimash live vocal performances? It might also give me some more fodder to review in coming videos. People love him. We live in such an interesting age, don't we, with the phones. Such a dramatic shift, isn't it, tonally, to go from that really light, many of you might describe it as a mix register, but I would describe it as an upper register sort of value, and then we get that really strong tonal, quite a bit of twang to it, quite a bit of focus to the tone. Have a listen to that shift between those two tonalities. Bigger. I'm on record as saying that's probably, for me, the standout tonal feature of his voice for me. And because his acrobatics, impressive, but I'm not personally into that. I've given this a lot of thought over the last few months, as many of you have reacted in some instances very strongly to my reviews of Dimash's voice, and I do wonder, and again, leave your comments below. I do wonder whether there's a cultural divide here, where for me, as an Aussie, middle-class, white, cisgender male, there's not a lot that I get, excited about when he goes right up into, what are just amazing notes. But that's not something that I'm really into. But what I really do enjoy about Dimash's voice is what we just listened to. It's just a lovely, consistent tone that communicates, that creates connection. Now, that's the stuff that I love. I know that I'm probably, probably alone on that, but that's me. Just me being authentic with you. It's interesting because we're coming up to the really, really high stuff. I wonder at that point whether we're watching him test his own voice. Again, I don't know where this song sits in his set list at this concert, but I wonder whether we're observing him just testing off mic, so we don't get to hear what his voice is doing, but he himself may be prepping to see, well, what notes am I going to be able to access at this point in the show, and what is my voice going to give me? Because whistle tone, which is where he goes, again, every time I use that term here on the channel, reviewing a Dimash video, there are comments left about my use of terminology. I'm calling it a whistle tone. You may disagree. Every time we hear him access those really high notes, the voice has to posture mechanically, physically, in a very specific way. This is why the entire population can't do whistle notes. There are some of us, me included, who anatomically cannot access whistle notes. However, Dimash can, to the extreme. I do wonder whether we're seeing him just test the water before he goes there. In-ear monitor goes back in. We don't know. It's interesting that he's not happy with that. He's not happy with that left in-ear monitor, is he? There's something's not right about the level. As a person who has had a long history of using in-ear monitors, I get it. Sometimes it's just so hard to get a really good monitor mix, but he's put it in, he's taken it out, and he's put it back in again and taken it out. He's leaving the right ear in. Yeah, that's a cool effect, isn't it? That's a cool effect where he's just shaking the mic. It really does give us an insight for those of you who have not used microphones very much before. It gives you an insight into just how much change in sound level you get from not a big he's not moving the mic a lot, but it's enough to give you that phasing of sound. Shakes the mic. He's a showman, and the audience love him for it. He's prepping up to it. The G8's coming. Something happens there. He tunes it up to the G8. Something, again, we don't know why. You might have insights that I'm unaware of, but we don't know why, but something, the voice doesn't activate onto the whistle tone like I think he's hoping it will, but he tries again, adjusts, and actually establishes what in the end is a personal best. It's impressive. And that's really interesting, isn't it? Because he just gives himself a moment of vocal rest there after he's just done that. And then he has a little bit of a sing, sort of to perhaps reset the voice, and then just drops off mic, has a bit of a swallow, has a little bit of a rest, and then back in. He's a very thoughtful singer, isn't he? He really does know why he's doing what he's doing. He's doing that, on his knees as well, isn't it? It's quite fascinating. Just that little bit of a rest. And back in. He is impressive. There's no question about it. And like I said, I think to date, that's probably my favourite video that I've watched of Dimash. And I'll be keen to see what your favourite performances are. I'm going to say it again because I've said it many times, and I think sometimes it gets missed. I do think he's amazing. I really do. And I'm going to have so many comments written below that say Dimash best in the world. You are allowed to think that. That's okay. He is right up there. I'm more given to not, crowning any one singer as, best in show, but he certainly, if we were to have that kind of competition, he'd almost certainly be in the running. But of course, we judge singers by so many different aspects, and I think the standout of Dimash is his acrobatics, specifically with the access of whistle tone. And so I hope you've enjoyed today's review. I'll be interested to see what your comments are, and also what your top 3 Dimash live performances are on YouTube, and perhaps we'll review those in the future. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.